Ceridian to acquire Eloomi, and maybe just start off like, what does Ceridian do, and why are they relevant? Let's start off there for people who might not be familiar.
Ceridian is a human capital management HCM company, and they started out with like tax and payroll, and now they really do everything in what I call people tech. And that is from, HR, tax, payroll, to what this is now, this learning management system market, which is a massive market. It's supposed to be a almost $55 billion market by 2032. And Ceridian's Dayforce platform is really their HCM platform. And the Dayforce already has some LMS capabilities to it, but Alumi really kind of, one, they have 850 customers globally, but they really have kind of, they're expanding the Dayforce capabilities with all of like the platform with learning content, people development, skills intelligence, and then employee communication functionality. I don't know if you saw an article I wrote published earlier this week in Forbes, about the necessity to train to upskill workers on AI, that there's just a very large skills gap. And I heard even on a Microsoft briefing this week that the ROI on a lot of these co-pilots is 13 months. So when you look at that, it shows, and I'm seeing a lot of data of productivity that these chatbots and co-pilots are driving, but at the same time, there's a lot of data that's showing that there's a loss of productivity. And I think you can understand this because you've tried a lot of these tools, where it takes some time to ramp up on this. So these learning kind of modules within a platform like Dayforce and Alumi now allows employers to track what people have learned and match skills to requirements that are needed for a job. It also allows employees to go find the skills that they need, go seek out something within their own organization. They can say, oh, I might want to go for this next job. Here are the skills I need for that job. And I'm going to, on my own time, take these courses. I'm going to kind of drive my own, learning map. But then it also logs it. It can also log it in for compliance reasons. So if you know that you have a certain number, and I'm not talking just for AI, but for certain things, you have, a certain subset of your workforce that has to be documented, certified under some sort of certification, that can be logged in there. So it really, and then of course you add AI to the operational aspect of that, not the chatbot aspect of it, but the operational aspect of on the back end of tracking those employees and making sure everybody's compliant. And I think that's really why we're going to start seeing these kind of learning management systems be so huge over the next, less than 10 years. But it really kind of modernizes that platform of learning and matching it to skills and certifications in human capital management.
Yeah, there's a few mega trends going on right now that dictate the use of better tools for HRM and HCM. I mean, the first one is this whole remote work. Like,
Yes.
how do you connect with your employees? How do you know that, not spying on them, but how do you know that they're getting work done?
Mm-hmm.
Shifting back and forth between a little bit of in-person and a lot of remote. Another one is 5 generations of workforce in the workforce, which you have to have tools, ambidextrous capabilities for people who don't necessarily, maybe they didn't grow up with an iPhone, right? Or maybe it's, they don't use a PC. They need to do something on a phone. I would say the third one is churn rate. The churn rate, not the unemployment rate, but the churn rate of people quitting and finding new jobs. You need to be really good during times of boom and bust to be able to hire, get people on, get them trained very quickly. Mm-hmm. And then in the downturns, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but as we're seeing where layoffs were announced both by SAP and IBM. How do you lay off people? How do you make sure they have the right benefits? How do you make sure that you're doing it in an honorable way, in the way that your company wants to do that? And a lot of this comes down to tools. I mean, human resources churn, and they need to have the right people. So I'm really excited about this whole HCM and HRM tools, and I don't even know what you would call them. Tools for connectivity, to be connected with your employees. It's a really exciting area.
There's definitely that on the, connecting with employees, but when you look at it, even from a tax perspective, a Dayforce, Ceridian Dayforce that has to kind of handle this too. And when you think about a remote work environment, even a small company that used to have, say, all of their employees in California, well, they may now have employees who decided to go move to Florida or Arizona or whatever. And now HR has to handle the payroll in each of those different areas. It's not a simple task. So these platforms are becoming even more important to be able to manage tax, payroll, benefits, because all of those laws are different in different states. And you have to be able to kind of automate those systems. Otherwise, people are just going to be bogged down with trying to make sure that they're staying compliant. And you can't mess with people's pay.
Messing with people's pay is not a good thing. And I had to upskill some of my talent because of some of the challenges we were having. So yeah. I can tell you that's a big deal.
It's important. But yeah, this is just part of, Ceridian's Dayforce, which actually they're rebranding to Dayforce. Dayforce is their big platform, and it's really what they're known for. And so the company, Ceridian, is actually rebranding the actual company to Ceridian. But this Alumi acquisition, it's their intent to acquire it. It should be final, actually, I think the end of February. But
up to 200 employees, says LinkedIn. So a little bit of a bigger acquisition than Cruise. So.
With 850 customers globally. So they do bring some customers with them. I imagine a lot of their customers are joint customers, but as part of this is just part of that. But I do think that this whole learning management system is a huge trend that we'll be watching for sure.